Approximately 700 years ago, there was a turtle born under a blood moon. This turtle was called the Turtlenator, and nobody understood the reference because it was 600 and something years too early. So they called her Devastating Judy, Dream Eater. Judy was rad as hell from the beginning. She rode turtle roller coasters and looked cool all the while. She had a tiger poster on a wall, and everyone agreed that it was badass and also recklessly cool. And she was the youngest leader of a turtle punk band, who skipped turtle school and did cool things on rocks all day like it was totally nothing, okay? The Turtle Council's subcommittee on prophesized babies were concerned. Could this be the turtle that was destined to bring either peace or total war to turtle society? Or also just not do all that much? Prophecies are weird like that. Still, they couldn't take any chances. So they requested the appropriate turtle paperwork to make a motion that would allow them to form a separate subcommittee charged with monitoring Judy from acceptable distances on weekdays and sometimes on Sundays. This was radical turtle legislation. Judy was too busy living her awesome life though. Her legend really took off after that time when she decided to go and slap around Hank Coy Blimey, the leader of the Scales of Justice, the baddest fish gang in the third ocean. Hank was a typical first boss kind of guy. He loved to shout. Look at him, opening his big stupid mouth and screaming at his gang to stop being so bad at gang stuff and actually be good at gang stuff. It was good leadership material for sure. Despite being hilariously undersized, Judy swam all the way up to their headquarters and started yelling very cool at the time, but in retrospect super duper offensive, and if we had any recordings she'd definitely be cancelled, stuff. Hank got real steamed and hot-stepped it to crush Judy's whole deal. Judy was not only funny, but she was also smart, so she ran away. Hank swam like heck to catch her, and he almost did a few times. But Judy had spent the first year of her life riding roller coasters and looking really cool, so she knew a thing or two about speed. Eventually, she jumped up on a rock. Hank was hella steamed, swimming around underneath and calling Judy names like being on a rock jerk and "Hey, you up there on that rock, you asshole." Judy was really hurt because it was mean, but she kept her cool. Judy waited for Hank to check for loose change in his pocket when she jumped off the rock and slapped him around a bunch. And in that moment, Judy's legend was cemented. Soon after learning of this historic event, the newly formed subcommittee on watching Devastating Judy, Dream Eater, decided to take action. If Judy became totally rad, she might never be stopped and eventually bring either peace or war or nothing to turtle society. And if it's one thing turtles cannot abide, it's peace or war or not really anything happening. So they sent their elite turtle squad, codenamed the Order for Immediate Liveliness Ending in Termination. They really couldn't understand why local children always got the giggles around their branding projects there. They advanced on her, expecting an easy win. Total domination. After all, she was only one, admittedly very cool, turtle. They did not know, however, that she had recruited her own elite squad that looked very suspiciously like the other squad but in reverse. And also she had this wizard with bubble magic, The turtle wizard knew some incredibly powerful turtle magic, like pulling coins out of ears, using mirrors to hide things, and blowing bubbles capable of destroying even the most elite turtle kill squads effortlessly. After an epic battle that lasted exactly as long as would be considered interesting by a general audience, Judy was the last turtle standing. She swam to the eternal tree of everlasting infinity to ask it for guidance on what to do next. The tree said,
"Devastating Judy, Dream Eater, you stand before me after doing the most raddest shit of all time in a battle that was exactly as would be considered exciting by an audience losing patience with this writing style. Of course you know what you should do next."
And he gave Judy a note with something written on it. Then the tree died, which was a massive shock to everyone because everyone had assumed that it would live forever with a name like that. But apparently it was one of those ironic nicknames, and the tree was actually only a couple of years old. Crazy. Massive twist. Judy looked at the note, then stared at the horizon with a single determination. She then became a pirate and had some awesome sea battles because that's what the note said to do. Her crew were the bovine buccaneers, the meanest cows to ever sail the seas. Also, they were a sick rap group with a dynamite debut album. She did some very realistic sailing on some very realistic water during some incredibly realistic storms. It was an epic tale indeed. It was on the high seas she met her first love, Greg Normalman. They had some illicit times. It was her romantic period, but alas, she knew it could not last forever, and after a weird second date, she told him he was a creep. Devastating Judy, Dream Eater. Story ended when a fishing boat hauled her up on a routine fishing day. She was pretty famous at this point, so the fisherman, a mystical man of the sea, offered her a deal. Become a fisherman yourself and your life will be spared. Judy had understood that if you give someone a fish, they'll eat for a day. But if you turn them into a fisherman, you won't be murdered on the deck of a stupid fishing boat owned by a mystical weirdo. She took the deal and probably became the world's best fishing person. Probably.